Hi everyone, my name is Bernice, and for my country profile, I chose Libya. So for some country data, the capital of Libya is Tripoli. The official language is Arabic. Population in 2023 was 7,305,659. The age range for 80% is 15 to 64. The GDP per capita is 6,172.8. Birth rate is 20.3 per every 1,000 people. Life expectancy is approximately 72.2 years. For men, it's 70.2, women 74.2. The death rate is 3.5 per 1,000, and the fertility rate is 3 children per woman. So while researching this, it was very interesting to see that a lot of their top causes of death reflected some of the top causes of death here in the United States. But the first top four is ischemic heart disease with 102.4, COVID-19 was 85.9, stroke was 43.1, and road injury was 33.9. Years of life lost is 89,113. Years lived with disability was 18,094, and disability adjusted life years was 107,207. Okay, so this is my individual, Meet Yusuf. He's a 55-year-old man from Libya. He is a retired oil worker with a history of hypertension and diabetes mellitus type 2. He lives at home with his wife and 2 sons, but due to limited resources, his access to healthcare is inconsistent. He also reports limited physical activity and has significant stress due to the political instability of his country. And now for some risk factors that do contribute to, ischemic heart disease and stroke and even COVID-19 are hypertension, alcohol, and adult obesity. It was said that about 42.7% of adults between the ages of 30 to 79 have hypertension, and also about 36.7 of adults are struggling with obesity. Now, Libya's diet is very rich in like bread, pasta, rice, stuff like that. And since Libya is more of a desert setting, their access to fresh produce is kind of limited. A lot of processed foods are imported, and that exacerbates hypertension, diabetes, and other non-communicable diseases that Libyans face. So these are the 3 sustainable goals that I identified for Libya. The first being zero hunger. Again, a lot of Libya's foods is imported from different countries due to the environment that Libya is in. It is a predominant desert area. Since the food is imported, a lot of processed food is imported to the people, a lot rich in carbohydrates, sugars, processed foods, etc. So there is organizations put into place to hopefully help provide Libya with more rich foods such as fruits and vegetables, and help mediate a little bit of the obesity and non-communicable diseases that are in Libya. The second sustainable goal would be good health and well-being. Since Libya does have a high incidence of non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, obesity, I think it would be important for the people to have more access to preventable health classes, or just plain education on the types of food they're intaking, since a lot of their food comes from, it's imported from different areas. It's easier to ship off, processed foods. So maybe a lot of education for them to know, like, hey, like maybe portion this amount of carbohydrates, make sure you're having your vegetables, etc. Also, Libya does have high air pollution, so maybe also addressing that. I know that the United Nations in Libya has put organizations into place to help provide people with more access to healthcare systems, and I know that they're addressing some of the environmental health risks, such as pollution, and just giving quality care for quality services for their people that need it the most. And the last sustainable goal is the clean water and sanitation. Since Libya is in a desert, um, the availability of water, clean water, is sometimes scarce, especially now when uh, Libya is facing some political instability. Access to those water sources can be a little bit more difficult. I know that the Libya gets 70% of their fresh water from a man-made river, but again, since there is so much conflict in the country, some areas are not accessible, so water is limited. So here are some takeaways. Despite Libya being oil rich, it heavily depends on food imports, and about 85% of its food is imported from different countries. Again, referring back to how Libya's environment doesn't help with being able to grow fruits and vegetables, so a lot of foods that are imported are heavily processed um, foods that contribute to, again, diabetes and cardiovascular issues. There is a healthcare system challenge due to ongoing inner conflicts, especially in rural areas. So, in these rural areas, a lot of the people don't have access to care. And then finally, non communicable diseases are growing with limited preventative care. Again, heart issues, diabetes, stroke. I think a lot of these people can benefit from some type of health education of what they're intaking and what they can do to prevent future complications. Anyways, thank you very much.